This man was trapped under an 800-pound boulder at the bottom of a canyon with no phone and no one coming. And the only tool he had was a 2-inch blade so dull it couldn't even scratch bone. He'd gone hiking alone in a narrow slot canyon in Utah without telling a soul where he was going. When the boulder came loose above him and crushed his right hand against the wall, he was 100 feet below the surface and 20 miles from the nearest road. He pushed it, hit it with rocks, tried to chip it apart, but 800 pounds wasn't going anywhere. All he had on him was half a bottle of water and 2 burritos, so he rationed every sip and every bite and waited. Nobody came on the first day. Nobody came on the second. By day 3, his water was gone, so he started drinking his own urine to keep himself alive. Then he pressed the blade against his forearm and started cutting into his own skin. The blade got through flesh, but when it hit bone, it didn't even leave a mark. He pushed harder, tried sawing back and forth, and nothing. The knife was useless against bone, so he pulled out a video camera with his free hand and started recording goodbye messages to his parents. Then he carved his name into the sandstone wall, his date of birth, and what he believed would be the date he died. That night, he was drifting in and out when he saw something. A little boy, maybe 3 years old, running toward him and laughing, and he was scooping the boy up with one arm because his right arm was gone. When he opened his eyes the next morning, his trapped hand had started to decompose. 5 days with no blood flow had turned the skin gray and the flesh underneath soft. He looked at the arm, then at the boulder pinning it. The bone didn't need to be cut. It needed to be broken. He braced his body against the canyon wall, leaned into his trapped arm, and used the boulder itself as the lever. Both bones in his forearm snapped. Then he picked up the blade and started cutting through the muscle, through the tendons, through the flesh. When the blade couldn't get through the tough ones, he switched to the pliers on his cheap multi-tool and twisted until they tore. 1 hour later, he was free. They recovered his arm from under the boulder. He had it cremated, went back to the same canyon 6 months later, and scattered the ashes right where it pinned him.